That ending wasn't beeped out at all, but we had no idea what he said anyway, because don't speak the language. So
It wasn't censored,
could be.
though.
Yeah, but how do they know?
I don't know. Does that mean that I can sit and swear in Danish?
No.
It's not bad.
Don't start.
Oh, okay.
I want to know some Danish. We'll get back to that. I'll learn another point. This could be something we could go with. We do have one more game of Erangel, ladies and gentlemen, here for the PUBG Europe Contenders, and it's our opening day of the second week here for Group B. And this is how you can see the points being split down as of now. Multiple teams moving into the 100-point mark. Tornado, a little bit better. They're slowly getting there, but it's not been the greatest of days for these teams.
We talked about Swarm getting that win. We talked about 4AK needing those wins. They were sitting down there, both of them, with 3D Max, with, I don't know that much of a gap, but enough of a gap to say, oh, that's going to be near impossible for them to get out of if all these other teams start doing well. Now they both get a win today. And honestly, I mean, add one more good game to it here, then might not be in top 8, but then coming into tomorrow, that's going to be all worlds of options for them.
And this is what's crazy, right? We talk about 4AK and the Swarm having wins today, and they're in 12th and 13th place, respectively. Like, it's winning is not everything in this if you cannot do it alongside a good amount of placements within the top 8, top 6 consistently here, because this is just proof of it. You can have these great games. Swarm showed us they know how to work the angles on multiple times, how they need to do these good rotations. They are a clever, capable team, but it's not every single time we can see it, and that's because we said about it, the opening 2 games today, they were engaging in fights very early on and weren't able to win them out.
Let this be a lesson, though, for Swarm, because I know a lot of teams do, and it makes sense to do. Whenever they look to improve, they go back and seeing all the games where they got a bad placement, and they say, oh, what could we have done differently? Instead, try it for those guys in Swarm, take a look at this game that you just played and say, what did we do that worked out so well? That can be really smart, too, because if you can repeat things that you've done in games previously that really worked out for you, well, I mean, then who knows? Maybe you'll get a chance to do it again. This plane, though, as fair as it is from the east to west for a team, for example, in 4AK wanting to go military, that's not going to happen. They're out early. They're going up to Stalba. Moonwolf will be going down south. Obviously, they saw teams shooting north, so they're saying that's not going to be something for us to contest. Tornado Energy down towards Milta. For us, they're going to their usual loot spots, so no big surprises there. Tarlans, what are they going to do here? Are they going to jump back to what we've seen them do before? Nope, they're still in the plane. Opted to go over to that west coast. That's what we're missing now, right? We had a south, we had a military game, east game, a northern one. So now it has to go west, right?
We'll find out in about 25 seconds whether that will be the case or not. Get your map out, Toby. Get your phone.
Beep, 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 beep. Yep.
See?
It's all plugged in.
Thought you were just swearing again.
No, it's all plugged in. Plugged.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to make, because you beeped rather than actually.
Oh, yeah. Now I'm, yep. It's getting late. It's getting late. I don't understand your jokes anymore, James.
Oh, dear. Never change.
Western
Hey,
Circle,
we get it. It works.
My program works.
Toby is beating the system. Players, if you want to pay Toby for some nice circles, he's a very moderate fee of 150 euros.
Now, we did talk about 4AK jumping north because they couldn't go military, but even the teams that go ferry pier, they were out in different spots too. VG, they're taking control of Hospital, forcing Elgiganten further north. We saw Nox coming in just before, no kills coming in just yet though. Swarm, they're now being contested in North George by Winside as well. So multiple teams up here, and Circle is there too. So for the eastern teams, who might normally have X amount of room to work with on the western side if they go early enough, well, I mean, now a lot of those spots are taken already.
And the point you're making there about Georgia Pole as well is very interesting, because we've seen this before, but only on 1 or 2 of the games. And it was maybe only 2 teams making out with full members left alive and others being picked apart or losing a player early on. So it's tougher when it gets this crowded. There's plenty of room for it in terms of loot, but it's when you all try to leave and get a better position elsewhere that it becomes a bit of a nuisance.
It really does. See Moonwolf getting themselves looted up. They have been a little all over the place today, but then again, planes haven't really been that fair for their multi-power drop, so they have been opted to go into different rotation, like different landing areas. It has worked out for them pretty well, at least in the early game. Now, with this rotation, though, how do you rotate to this circle if you're a multi-power looting team? You're not going to go early, of course, but,
no.
But when? And do you go in from the south? Do you go back up north? We saw them go all the way north when we had that northern circle in the first game. Could be an option here to come in north of North Georgia. But even, I mean, in all honesty, you could go down towards the military island and cross over to Ferry Pier, because you knew the plane was north. You know there's no one looting down there right now. So that could be an option too. We'll see though.
At least for 4AK, we spoke about where they went now in Stalva this time around. They're the 2 spots. There's military base in Stalva, but where they want to go. But their rotation in is going to be a little bit easier if they go from the northern side here until they get over to Georgia Pole, where in terms of where they were on military base, there was a lot of space there in this whole area down towards the south. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts in how it works out.
So still getting their rotation team going VG. They know they're looting under pressure. Maga has already made his presence known. Doesn't have a whole lot of loot, doesn't have a whole lot of ammo either, but he's keen on trying to take out some of these wheels, and indeed he will.
And that means that, once again, Vinco are getting split up here.
Yeah.
Under fire. Finding it like, oh, we want to try to take a bit more control. Oh, no, we've overextended. Now we need to try and keep people alive and together.
Se7en Esports, so they're going to be expecting as many teams on the western side as we know that there is. I'm not sure. They will go to try and take that west side of the Everest mountain to their control. 2 guys, 2 vehicles. And they will get themselves a compound. Seems like PG wanted to get it, but who's going to win the race? We can see it on our maps. It's on the right on the center. Krabik is out, shooting over towards Nemerath. Should be a compound claimed by 7.
That's a good spot for 7 to take early on here, but it really depends on how they want to fight with this, because, again, they're now gone back to not playing off the edges. They're going center. There's still 16 teams alive. There's still plenty of teams around them here, so they will be fighting 4 days.
Personally, I'm not that big a fan of this compound, because you're really reliant on having other teams help you out and covering you, in the sense that if you look, like if you're sitting in the buildings, you have a huge hill up to your eastern side, so that whole side is completely blocked off. The only thing you can really get vision on and knowledge on, as far as who is where and whatnot, is what's happening to your southwest. So, and any team above you, you can't really do anything against them. All you can do is hope that the teams that are in the antenna, that are out on the western side, will shoot to help you. Now Tarlans, they were fighting a little bit before, didn't get any knocks or anything in, but as we can see here, VG and Tarlans once again have found each other.
That's how they deal with each other is the next thing, as more Tarlans players get themselves ready. Max, it's all going to come down to timing, runs down the corner, hears it out, manages to get it done, but they trade it out, and Soda, he does deliver a long range shot to cover his teammate a bit. Moonlight, he's got the car being shot at as well. He's hoping his teammate might be able to kind of get close to him here. The Dexo's going to jump out the window and provide the ability to hold on to his teammates. They could just end up both reviving and going into a bit of a stalemate.
Nobody else is engaging on this one so far. Panko does get taken out from a distance. That's one player down from Tarlans. Rest is coming in. That smoke's going to fade eventually. Does not see them. He hears the steps, though.
They're well aware of what just happened. Right past each other. Moonlight looks to try and get himself up the stairs. Gets a nade pinned and ready as well. The Dexo working his way right up to the top. Blue is bleeding out, but he's still alive for now, but Moonlight looks to go in for the flush. Oh, the pull-up comes in. Ace Serena's able to get the job done. He lands the headshot and will go straight in for the finish off. Mark is trying to do it as well, but shots are coming in. And Ermax, he's the one to deliver all the damage and all the hurt here.
This is chaos if I've seen any. How in the universe did Tarlans just survive that? I was like, Maga is coming in this late. That's going to be him dead. But then he just completely takes him down, and Irma comes around the corner helping him out. What a hero play coming in there. Chaos on end, and somehow Tarlans lives it through with 2 players.
Solid stuff, though. You got to say, like, it was chaotic from both sides. They weren't really sure what to go. That little fight we saw happen, and no revives coming in, but Tarlans were able to hold on strong to it. What, there's only 1 Vinco player left now? I think it's Soda who was far away.
Soda, he was getting the damage applied with the bolt action, but not enough in order to keep his teammates up. Unfortunately, he'll be playing the rest of the game by his lonesome. He'll have ghosts talking in his ears, of course, but as far as shooting goes, it's going to be all him. Enzo, can you do it? Snoggy out. Gets himself a knock.
Easy kill for them to pick up.
Hate to see it.
No
From a playing perspective, that's going to be like, I've just spent so much time looting. I've rotated to the circle. Everything went so well. I'm ready to start fighting, and
I'm dead.
You're out.
GG.
There's just nothing you can do about it either. It's one of those. Of course, you can help trying to improve it for the next games. It's just one of those situations where, well, bad timing, buddy.
Bad timing indeed. Is 3D Max, 3 players left alive. They're going to work their way in. 4AK have gone all the way, like we said, from Stauber, worked their way in past Severny now. They're one of the last teams rotating in. And actually the teams, if you are looking at the map screen, ladies and gentlemen, the teams that are in Georgia Bowl have pretty much all left, other than the final 3D Max players, which are moving now. So there is room for 4AK to work with it.
And 3D Max came in late. They weren't even looting Georgia Bowl. So, yeah, they indeed have all left the premises. And now Moonwolf, we talked a bit about them before. How will they rotate out from Milta Power? We knew they were going to be coming in late. And they have just made their way inside the circle 10 seconds before the new one opens. And as you can see on the map in the bottom side there, that is exactly where they are now, though. New circle's gonna pop. Where are we going? Holy, that is...
We did it over on the east, and now we're going to do it over on the west.
Oh, these number 2 circles today. First we get the eastern one, then we get this one, and then we also got the one south that went even further down to the southern side. Wow. There is not a whole lot of room, guys. A solid 50% of this one is water. Another 30% of it is a big old city. Then you have a mountain, and then you have where everyone is planning to go. That 10% space of the circle where everyone's going to be fighting for.
Yeah, if you're one of these final teams coming towards this circle now, just try and hold on to the edge. Yeah, just sit there. If you're 4AK, just stay North George.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The thing is, with so much water in it, the next one doesn't have to shift away from water either. So it can get even worse, right? Deeks, plenty of shots fires over toward Phantom. He will be able to stay alive, though, dodging bullets all over the place. Savage trying to get himself into a good position, too, and Art of War. We can see it, and we talked about it before. If you're coming in late, if you don't have a place to go, well, Georgia Bowl is a big enough city to house a few teams.
Is this where we get another Georgia Bowl ending?
Could be.
Could it be happening?
This one, the only rule for this next circle is for those of you guys who don't know, every single circle except for circle 4 and circle 8 can go anywhere on the map. There's only one rule that applies, and that is that the center of the circle, the dot in the middle, if you drew up one, has to be on land somewhere. So you cannot have one that
goes
like...
This one is as close to not being on land as possible.
When you get them, and they're like, how is that? And you're trying to like draw it up with your ruler. It's like, okay, it's actually just on the absolute edge of the shore.
I'm doing like a mark on my hand now across the screen here, and it's pretty much on the beach.
Exactly, and that's viable. That's acceptable as long as it is on land. Then it goes.
No, Enzo, that is not what you want to be doing. Especially with how many teams are around.
They have room, though. They have room in containers. But yeah, I agree. It's those knocks, I'm telling you. We think, haha, funny, he ran over a teammate. Nope, once you get knocks next time, in the middle of the heat of a moment kind of fight, then there's not going to be time to rest him.
Do you remember in phase 1 where people thought I was being overly harsh because I literally hated it when they were knocking each other? The reasons is directly because of that, because you can do it at the wrong time. Another team sees it and goes, ha, 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 and then you'll actually lose either yourself or at least 2 players from it, potentially.
And that's the worst thing. I mean, one thing is this, and we talk about how the knock timer will be different. Another situation is where you see a rotation come in, one knocks over a teammate, and then the guy that's knocking gets knocked as well because of it, right? And then it's like, oh, well, that's 2 players gone for, well, seemingly no reason whatsoever. One thing is when you flip a bike because you're getting shot at, that is excusable. But in these situations where teams are trying to rotate, run into each other, or stopping their rotations and running each other over, there's just no room for it. That is something that I know is super chaotic and difficult to deal with, but it's something that you have to practice to such an extent that you can at least 99.9% of your rotations do it, like avoid it.
Yeah, and I think just because it's one of those things where it's easily done, but also easily you just train yourself out of it, right? You make sure you'll be a little bit more cautious and try and think and have your wits about you when it comes to it, which is where time should be put into, because they can be costly. Yeah.
Now, even though we talked about how much water there was and everyone being on top of each other, we do have room to play around, considering how big of a city there's still in play. This next circle, though, is going south, and what was once a big city with room for everyone is now not so much anymore. We're going into fields down by where we see Tornado Energy in the open, and we have the whole hillside around Hospital that's going to be viable. Everything else is going to be, well, I mean, fought for.
I'm going to be looking to see what PG-18 do here, because Nemrith's got a compound on his own. The rest of them can push up into it, but Tornado are taking the shots onto the remaining PG players in it.
Yeah, PG has a really good compound in the little yellow house alongside a blue shop building up in the northwestern side of the swarm. That's a really good spot to sit in, especially with these kind of southern circles. You can hold off your entire backside. Now, if you have to move north from here, that can be difficult. But clearly they have chances to make moves from here. Also gotta say, we lost 6 players rather early on. Haven't really lost any since. And that, of course, has something to do with Georgia Pole being up there for teams to go to. Now we see Art of War making their rotation straight through 4AK. And they're taking casualties by the second. 2 players down and out, and nothing they can do about it.
Art of War had some seriously good games today. Not always in the highest of placements, but been able to stand strong and get some kills alongside it. Tornado fighting once again, and it's 7 on Tornado. This is twice now, back to back. They're fighting for some high ground on the hills. Back and forth. Compot's still up in it. Needs to hang on to it, though. He's getting shot at by other teams at the same time, which means he really is scared to push any further forward here, knowing that the 7 team can come over the top. And Yannick, he's going to try and get involved in this as well.
You can see Quickmath 2 making their rotations in this direction. Yannick, in my opinion, might be a bit too aggressive, wanting to embrace that chaos a bit too much, because should this fight come to an end, before he's really able to do anything from here, that run back towards his teammates is going to be a real long distance. Quickmath now, they want to get in on this one. Art of War, they're doing some damage from Georgia Pole. That's a different area of the map, of course. And now 7 starting to take casualties with Quickmath third party in the fight here.
Quickmath, they sensed what was going on, then they heard it, and then they came to play the cleanup duty. Otherwise, the only player left alive here for 7, trying to tap up into this. This could be 2 16th place finishes for 7 on our opening day of week 2. Now, we know what that did to them last time. It spurred them on, as it does happen. But is it going to spur them on tomorrow to change things up? Because that is not what they will be happy with.
Tornado energy as well. Not a good day whatsoever for them. But we got to keep in mind, both 7 and Tornado energy didn't come off that well in the beginning of the second week either. They got things going over the week, and that's when they started hitting their kind of prime shape in the end of the week.
Yeah.
Maybe they just need to kind of throw off 1 day of games, have all the bad games in day 1, and then they have the other 3 days to pull off even better numbers, because they didn't really come off to the best of starts either, those 2 teams in the first day.
And that's the beauty of it. You can change it around oh so quickly.
For sure. When we saw on day 1 with 7, right? They were doing weird strategies we hadn't seen before, and then when they changed things up, they started getting wins and points all over the place. Now, though, Circle, we know it has to shift away from water, and it does pretty much to the only place that it possibly could. But oh my lord, this is a big open field, and there's nowhere to go for a lot of these players.
Yeah, if you've got a compound or even a little shack at this point to fight from, you're going to be wanting to stay there as long as possible if you are within this circle. 4AK.
Lucky.
yeah. 4AK, Swarm, Stella, Elgiganten got to find a little bit more room for themselves in here. Soda's still hanging on as a solo Vinco player.
Again, this is where you have to know. We talk about it on Miramar all the time, but believe me, it's still a thing on Erangel too. You have to know every single dip, every single little position that you could possibly go to and play from. Because right now, when you're looking at the map, you're just saying, compounds, they have to be taken. Center, huge open field. There's nothing we can play from. But you have to go somewhere. You cannot just sit in the blue. You have to have the income leader say, guys, we are going here. And that's just how it is. We got to do what we can from here. There are dips in these fields. There are different sort of hay bale constructions you can play around with vehicles and get cover. You just have to know them.
And that's it, just because it's not your #1 spot choice of where you'd want to go.
Gotta know it all.
You've got to work with what you've got, and if you've not got a lot left, like a lot of these teams, well, it's time to find out how you could make this little bit of spots work out for you. As we saw Art of War go down and next in 15th.
They had a rough rotation coming from the north too. 4AK made it even harder for them, taking out 2 players. And now Cass goes down too. Cass, one of the Stella players we haven't seen a whole lot from today. Stella does have a win under the belt, but Cass unfortunately not getting the, at least as far as kills go, the most action-packed day today.
Yannick getting sprayed out onto by Moonwolf. Okka's able to deliver it. Margo trying to fight off here against the Stellar players as well. So multiple little engagements going on.
Soda is still alive too. He's like, guys, can you stay on the other side of the hospital, please? I don't want you to come over to me, but Savage is already over there.
Yeah, he's checked himself into hospital. He's got the IV in him. He's trying to get some adrenaline going. He's sat there thinking, okay, I'm ready for my time to strike. When's it going to happen? Just give me a little bit more time.
Swarm is being taken out, and not only did Elgiganten do well in doing so, they also did not take a single casualty. We talk about it time and time again. It's always great when you can win these fights, but more often than not, in a straight 4v4, you will lose 1, potentially even 2 players. So in order for them to get that win and keeping all 4 alive, very, very impressive done by Elgiganten.
No, this is really interesting. Stella's position. Close range to the Tarlans players. They're sharing a compound, but it won't be shared for too much longer. It's Stella needs to be able to pull this off. It's a 3v2 by the looks of it, and Stella have to do this without any casualties.
See PG, they got themselves that compound. Get to sit around there for a little while. They're down to just 2 players, though, I believe. Yen went down earlier as well when he was trying to go a little aggro on the guys over on the eastern side. Moonwolf, they've been creeping in from the bottom side throughout the entirety of this game. Desperados on the western side as well. Nice 2-2 split they've got going. Kind of securing even more space for themselves with a good view over the field.
And this is scary. If Desperado can hold on to this position,
yeah,
they've had 2 second places and then 12th place, but they could end with a good position here once again.
Indeed.
And they've got a lot of this room. And like literally all of this south kind of eastern side where the circle does shift, they've got control of.
What does Calvin and Talsera do here? They need to know that pressure will be applied from north. And they cannot sit there too. And look at this immediately. Coulter starts making the run up. They cannot hold both those positions, in my opinion. They need to commit to either one or the other.
Soda, though, he's found himself a knock onto Deegs, throws out the nade, looks to do some more damage with it. Does pop, but it won't find himself killing anyone off. Soda runs round, and he's looking to challenge. Hugstar is there as well, but he's quite low on health, interestingly enough. Soda going in for the finish off. He's getting kills, but Savage on the approach. We're just watching it from a very odd angle here, as he is getting it done. Soda single-handedly locking it down. What a beast!
He was reloading too, just exactly gets it off and take out Savage too. Oh my lord, Elgiganten. They can hold a 4v4 against Swarm, but a solo in Soda is too much for them to deal with. Nillis now, all by himself. That is 4 impressively earned points by Soda right there. We did see Tarlans go out too. Still gets himself the finish off. But holy cow, that was unexpected.
What did I tell you that Soda was doing, right? Oh,
What? What?
Huh?
Hello, observing.
I
mean, not observers, of course, but just the game.
Yeah, that wasn't showing quite correctly. But you know what Soda was doing, right? He was sat in the hospital, he's getting himself medded back up, trying to put himself in a nice spot, and there you go, jobs are good.
4AK trying to rotate over. Desperados alongside for us made it hard for them, practically impossible. They go out in 11th place. So despite me saying Desperados don't set split, they decide to stick to it. And well, at least for now it's working out. Nils just full on crashed into the warehouse, and everybody knows.
You made lots of noise, the moon is waiting for you, and you poke out and you go down. Elgig in 10th.
Not sure exactly what the plan was of running out there, but he heard nades coming in towards him, and I guess you have to run in some direction when it's a clink, clink, clink on the ground around you.
3D Max at the next though to get closer towards Winside, and Donator is able to hit the first couple of shots. He's waiting for him to poke over this ridge line. He's got his teammates with him as well. 3D Max got to be careful because there's nothing for them to hide behind here.
Yeah, see Quickmath, they're starting to make their rotations on out as well. Again, there's not a whole lot to play around, but every single little dip going into your advantage has to be something you want to play from. Combat still alive, he's spawning in the field, and now you have Stella. They've made their way into the center of the field as well.
All trying to gain space because everyone else is pretty much playing around the edges. More nades coming out to 3D Max, and they're completely hunkered down.
Nope. I think he just grenaded to the back of his teammate's head there. That's oh, that was a smoke. Okay, never mind. Looked like it bounced off of his head.
Luckily, it was a smoke. If it was a nade, that could have been very dangerous. But loads of nades flying forward. That was literally in the Boom's eyes.
Put on your 3D glasses, and that's going to be one of those, we'll jump away from the screen.
You want to avoid that at all costs. And I like this from Winside. They've still got 4 alive, and they're thinking, is there any real reason for us to push on this now? We've got the first couple of knocks in. We can hold back and wait it.
Desperados, they have left the yellow houses as it's been shifting out from the circle, smartly doing so. They're trying to take control of the north now. Talsera and Calvin, they're up there, but they need help. And on the south side as well, Moonwolf trying to push up towards the 2 remaining members in PG-18.
They're looking to try and finish them off here. Nades going out. D's quite low on health already, getting himself healed back up. Nemerith holding strong with the grenade, fires it back out, and that's actually really well placed.
Wow, what? Is Okko alive? You cannot even see his health bar.
Oh, he's very, very small, does finally go down. That was confusing me as well. The nade looked like it was going to be on the money, but it is eventually connecting with him. And this is huge. Just barrel out more nades. Why not? Eduko's the only one up in it. He's trying to spray out and take some shots here, but he's got to be careful because if one more nade comes out towards him, that's him and his team done for.
And at this point, if you're Moonwolf, you cannot just sit and eat these nades. You have to make an aggressive play. If they keep coming, you got to start moving. Watch out, does get stuck onto one. Has Elgiganten up and around there too, but he needs to do something. Elgiganten is not there to help him. They're losing a player now. They have two back up on their feet, but they're being applied with pressure is being applied from other angles. They need to make a move forward. They cannot just sit and hold this.
PG-18 have kept him at bay for so long here and spent just countless amounts of utility and time.
See both Force and 3D Max going down and out. Desperado's held strong on the other side. Fake has managed to make his way into the field. You can see him on your minimap on the screen here. Elgiganten is still alive, so if Risu can get this one. Ooh, he wants to get the info, but it's not going to be easily obtained.
He's poking, he's trying to get it for his teammate. Resu has to react now. You can't afford for a teammate to go down.
Where was Risu when Elgiganten pushed forward? We didn't see, or we did see, but I was focusing on the whole movement on the mini screen there. Why would they not push this one together? Nemorith now has a hero play to make here. They already have themselves one good game settled today. Can they get themselves more of it? No, he gets
They bypassed each other.
Oh my lord, that's so coincidental.
Oh wow. Timing, that's what it comes down to sometimes. PG-18 will go out, but they cost so much there for the Moonwolf players.
Moonwolf with 4 up, and now there's 0 up. Tausera and Desperados. They've done it time and time again today, and this looks to be one more of those type of games. Kumpet wakes up after a little bit of a sleeping session for a couple of circles. Gets himself a knock and a finish up onto one player. Now Jampaway is still there. Look at this circle going in the direction of Desperados. 2 second places today already. This should be their game to win.
And Fake coming out there and being in the open as well solidifies their position over the whole circle down at the south. So he can just take multiple shots with his teammates working in. Calvin Klein's gone towards the north. Golden Ninja joining him and Tozera providing the cover fire.
It's going to be really hard for anyone to deal with them Winside, though. They are still 4 up. You cannot count them out yet. They are a team to be dealt with for at least Desperados. But the thing is, Desperados are in, and for the most part, Winside won't be. Jambaway does go down. Suho gets the finish up on towards him. Gift goes down as well. This push is going to be so hard. This was their only guy on the other side. And Zero spotted him out immediately.
Tornado starts to move. Nice headshot coming out from Tozera. Can't get the finish off, though.
The fact that Tornado Energy has kept one player alive for this long is absolutely impressive. Kumpet has an impossible pretty much run to make now. Same thing going for Quickmath.
He's like, I believe.
Run! Take the blue. Die to it. There you go. Deny the points. Like to see it. Because there was nowhere for him to run in that circle.
Yeah, you're just out in the open to be fragged out on. There's Quickmath, they're finding themselves in the same position. Very little cover here. And Desperados, they're going on a hunting spree. 5 kills already for Calvin Klein, and he is not done yet.
Yeah, they've pushed out Coldamenta as well into the field to get more of an aggressive angle, get more of a control situation for them, get more different angles on these guys hiding behind the hay bales and whatnot. There's still 3 players though. 3 players on Winside inside of the compound, and they will eventually, unless with that last circle, super hard to towards them, have to leave.
Tap, 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 tap is all you can
strategy.
hear.
Have them run out of ammo.
Yes.
Force them to bait all their ammo.
Oh my god, 10 kills already now for Desperados. Quickmath go down next, and now it's all between Desperados and Winside. 3v4.
Yeah, we talked Winside. Oh, Desperados. We said they can be one of those teams to surprise you and have crazy days, and they've done it today. Sure, they had a 12th place game where things didn't go their way, but the fact that they get 2 games that could both have been won, and then they get themselves a win, potentially a win here, or at least a guaranteed top 2 placement once more. That's 3 out of 4 games in 2nd place or better. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, they've had a second, and a 12th, and they'll be looking to make it a 1st here with the numbers well on their side. And just the positions they've got here for Desperados, the confidence to jump up and be taking these shots. 2 players already in the circle, and they can use the other 2 to force Winside out. And Winside have to move next, right? They're the first ones that are going to have to go.
Speaking of ammo.
Oh, wow, 4! Oh, the Boom.
I hope Boom has something. Oh, I was going to say, I hope he doesn't have a 7.62 weapon as his main too. That would be absolutely horrible now. Tausera does get spotted out there. Calvin is there to do damage, but he
Nice.
gets headshotted immediately. They need to land these shots if they want to have a chance at this one. 3 guys alive, it's still doable, but it's going to be extremely difficult.
Fake is just tapping him down, though. So much damage done. The Boom, he's looking up towards them, but he's actually looking towards the wrong direction. Calvin and Klein's moved. Fake finds himself the first, not coming in. Denexer's going to be going down next, and it's all up to Moon. He gets picked apart, and it was a constant fragging field as Desperados take a win, and they do it with 15 kills.
Very impressive win.